She'll be hosting the roundtable discussing working with Drosophila in Africa. And Dr. Rashidat has done many outreach activities, is a co-founder of the Droso for Nigeria, and is also the pioneer laboratory founder and manager of the first Drosophila lab in her university and the whole of northern Nigeria. So I'd like to pass it on to Dr. Rashidat.
You may have to mute one.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's nice meeting you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, hi. So it's nice to be here. It's nice meeting you all. And welcome to the discussions on the roundtable discussions on problems and prospects of Drosophila in Africa. So can I share my slides? Can I go ahead and share my slides, Lola?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Okay. So share. Okay.
Sorry, we're trying to unmute her again.
Okay.
You're okay now?
Okay, you should be able to unmute.
No?
Yes.
It's okay now. It's
Perfect.
okay.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah. So I said we're all welcome to the roundtable discussion. So it's a discussion, it's an interactive session. So we would like to appreciate if you one or two points, you can stop and then add one or two things during the course of the discussion. So let me just start by thanking DrosAfrica for this opportunity to share my little experience with my work with Drosophila. So next slide. Okay. Yeah, so I'll start by sharing some of my personal quotes on Drosophila. So I said, hard work indeed pays when you work with Drosophila. Though they usually said it's tedious, but it actually pays. Now, let me start from where Ross Kagan stopped, where he spoke about reach across. Yes, that's to collaborate. So in Drosophila research, if you don't collaborate, you collapse. Okay, so it's a community that needs it's a family, sort of family where you don't share, you don't hide information. Okay, you collaborate, you reach out to people, and then you find out that it's actually a universe where everything is possible. Yeah, and then I said all good things come to those who patiently persevere in working with Drosophila in Africa, because as we'll come to see, there are actually challenges. Okay, there are actually challenges working with Drosophila in Africa. And I said Drosophila is a universe of ideas and opportunities for developing science in Africa. This also will come to see how. Now, Drosophila research also, if you can think it, you can do it. You just need to find out how. Okay. So first of all, I would like us to before we go into the topic of discussion, I would like each and every one of us to kindly type in the name of your country and also the one or two problems that you think research or researchers encounter in your country. So Hamed, is he with me?
Okay, let's unmute everyone then.
Yeah, it's an interactive session, so please, I think, yeah, we should.
Yeah, we are asking everyone to unmute now.
Okay.
if it gets too noisy, I will mute everyone and then we can unmute privately.
Why don't you give us the opportunity to unmute ourselves and then mute ourselves?
Okay, yes.
Get necessarily noisy. So like
Yes. I think that would be better. So, yeah, I'm already hearing some background noise.
Too much. Okay, so let's do one by one then. So Rashidat and Hamed, you wanted to mute?
I want him on mute.
But is there a way that we can let the people to be able to unmute themselves when they want to talk? Okay.
That should be now.
Okay.
Let's see, Hamed, try to unmute yourself. It should work.
Yes,
No?
it's working. It's working.
Okay.
Working now.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Let's see if
so
this
Hamed,
doesn't. Yeah, let's see if the noise keeps low. I don't want, but now everyone should be, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So Hamed, I would like you to please just kindly write down a few that you can see to see if it's the same or different from what I have with me here. The problems that researchers encounter in various countries in Africa. Yes.
Oh yeah. So do you want me to talk about it, or you want me to actually?
No. I mean the participants can just write send in chats. They can send in chats. Okay. From Ghana, researchers encounter this. That's just it. I just want to have that data, please.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So we've got someone from South Africa. So they said we seems to want to use expensive model and do not appreciate our fly model. So I think so that's a problem in that particular country. So in Nigeria, electricity, funding, and poor lab equipment.
Electricity, funding, and poor lab equipment. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, do we have more, or I can just go ahead?
We're waiting. So
okay. Let's not take much of the time. So I'll just go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Now, yeah. So what are actually the challenges? Before we go into the topic of today, I'd like to first start with the challenges of research in Africa, a case study of Nigeria, of course. So the first is limited research funding. I wouldn't say no funding, but it's limited, and it's actually due to some factors. We can see that some people get rich, of course, from filling their pockets with the research, with the fund meant for research. Even in the university, you find such cases. And of course, when there is limited research funding, poor infrastructure, poor capacity building all come into play, of course. And this has resulted in brain drain. So there are several papers from Matter Research Crespo et al. 2017. We also have from Isabel et al. 2020. There are so many papers that have spoken on this, so I wouldn't dwell much on that. Now, these have, of course, led to poor science in Africa, Nigeria case study. So this all boils down to bureaucracy, that is the politics that is ongoing. Now, take for instance, you're able to secure funding from third fund, they're all called third fund, tertiary institution and trust fund for research, or maybe from external funding. Now, it gets to some universities here in Nigeria, and the politics involved is that at the end of the day, the researcher might get just maybe 10, 20% of the funding. So what is he expected to get out of it? What is he expected to actually conduct with that? So it all boils down to bureaucracy, to policy. It's not as if, okay, the research funding is limited, which results in poor infrastructure, poor capacity building, and someone said electricity. Yes, it's all part of the limited research funding. So like I said, please, if you want to chip in one or two things, you can please indicate, and then we can add. It's an interactive session, so I'm not going to do much talking. I'm just to direct this interaction. Okay, I can see Hajara Abubakar. Yes, her hand is up. Yes, can she say one or two things?
You should be able to unmute yourself if you want to join in. All right, perfect.
Okay, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, it's nice seeing you too, and I'm glad that you're from ABU because I'm also yes, I've been neuropathy using Drosophila, but I'm facing issues, and one of my major issues is that of confocal microscope.
Okay.
Yes, so I was even asking earlier, maybe there's another, maybe fluorescent microscope can be used instead.
Yes, I saw that question. Yes, I saw that question. Yes, so these are actually general challenges of research. So we'll go down to the challenges that Drosophila research face in Nigeria. Okay, yes, so we'll go down to it. So now these challenges of research in Africa, in Nigeria, how can it be solved? I said Drosophila, the universal driver of science. Ahmed already spoke about this, of the similarities between Drosophila and humans. And one good thing about Drosophila research is that it is very, very cost effective. So there'll be a poll asking on how much mice cost in your country. Also, I think Lola will be assisting us with that. Lola. Hello,
Sorry,
Lola.
say that again?
Yes, can you assist us with the polls?
I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Sorry? No, in the end it didn't work, Rashid. I cannot do it because I'm not the person who is, managing the Zoom, so I cannot do the poll. Sorry.
Yeah, we found out that it had to be managed from Queen Mary IT, and there was no time to organize.
But maybe maybe you could post some of the questions and then the people can answer them.
Okay.
Online, no?
Yeah, I will do that. So let's just type. So how much?
Like, for example, questions, Rashida, questions like, have you heard of Drosophila's model system before the workshop or after the workshop? Do you believe this can really help in your research?
Yes, they are all listed here. So are we going to start with the first one? Maybe, Hamed, can you assist me in typing?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So have you heard of Drosophila as a model before this workshop? That's one of the questions.
I'm sorry.
So we'll need the audience to just raise up their hand, just hi. At least that can take statistics.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good. So do you believe that the fruit fly can help in your research? Do you believe that the fruit fly can help in your research?
Yeah, people are saying yes.
Yes, okay. Now, do you think it will be easy to implement Drosophila at your institution? Do you think it will be easy to implement Drosophila research at your institution?
Yeah, people are saying yes, yeah.
Mary, can I ask why you said no? You can unmute yourself if needed.
Oh, yeah, actually, that's a very good point.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe said no.
I thought we were supposed to type also. Hello?
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 Yes. I typed because I thought I could type what I wanted to say.
Okay.
So I'm Mary from Ghana.
Okay.
This is the first time I'm hearing about the Drosophila in Africa. In fact, Drosophila. So I became interested. I heard this first from Isabel, and then asking whether it will help in my research yes, I believe strongly to help in my research because I am a natural product chemist. I isolate compounds from plants, so into drug discovery. And I heard from, I think, Ahmed, the first speaker on the first day, no, the speaker on the first day, Dr. Amos Abdulazeez, on toxicity. I saw that I could, do something with him. And then I've also seen that, it can be used as, my compounds can be used as drugs or agents to check if you can have some activity for cancers and using Drosophila. And I'm excited about the Drosophila because you don't need so much fun to do the research.
Yeah.
From what I gather from the talks, you don't need that much compared to using other models or other work. That's very interesting. And I'm excited. So I'm looking forward to collaborating with people to help me with my work. So I will not work directly with the Drosophila, but the applied one, because I'll work with collaborators to do that one. Thank you.
Okay, that's nice. So Mary has at least answered the next question, where she said, the next question was actually, if you had the opportunity to work with Drosophila, will you do it? And so yes, so this is really a great news. This is a nice news. So yes, okay. Now we'll go further to the next question. Do you use mouse in your research, or which model do you actually use? Is it mouse or mice or C. elegans, other models aside from Drosophila in your university or in your research?
Can I just break in, say something quickly?
Okay.
While people are voting. So I think one thing that came out from your question about whether they think flies will be useful is many people said that it could be useful, but they would need help to implement it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's worth discussing.
Yes. Okay.
Have you guys tried like solution?
We'll calm down. You said?
Have you guys slide for like solutions and?
Yes. This is just the universal problems with research. So we are going down to the problems and prospects of Drosophila, using Drosophila in Africa. So yes,
okay,
we have slides for that. So this is just briefly on Drosophila, the universal driver of science, and then we have some research from the Martha and Isabel. He said, according to Hugo Billen, he said, you get 10 times more biology for $1 invested in flies than you get in mice. Okay, so that's one thing that we in Nigeria, I'm using Nigeria because that's where I know more. One thing we in Nigeria is the money, the funding. The funding is where this now comes in. So we have some papers, also some publications, which I'm going to also send some links later on how the fruit fly have been used to boost science in Nigeria, at least to some extent, and then what are the problems and the prospects. So now let's go to our discussions for today. So how much does a mouse cost in your institute, please? How much does it cost relatively? How much? How much does a mouse or a mice cost in your institute? Okay, are we getting response?
Yeah, 500 naira, $3,
okay.
1,000
wow.
naira.
Wow, 1,000. Okay.
Naira. $180 from Jax, 700 naira.
Okay.
So on average, like 550, 500. So.
Okay. So another question is, do you usually need ethical approval to work with some mice? Do you need ethical approval?
Rashida, when you finish this session, I just want to say something when you finish this part of this topic of money. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so do you need ethical approval of do you need ethical approval?
Yeah, people said yes.
Okay. So how long do you think it takes to get results from using mice? How long? How long does it take to get results?
1 week, 2 months, couple of months, yes, 2 years.
Okay. Okay. So now, thank you. So let's go into the discussion proper. So now, what are the problems of working with Drosophila? So a case study of Nigeria, and I'll start by telling a short story about myself, how I started working with Drosophila. It was my first encounter with Drosophila was in 2010 when one of our lecturer, a geneticist, asked us to trap fruit flies as part of our CA, and which we did. In fact, we did. So when I came back for my master's in 2014, he happened to be one of my supervisors. I went with my proposal, and he was like, Rashida, you have to change this role. You have to work with Drosophila. And I was like, sir, Drosophila, as in that tiny thing you asked us to catch when we're in 200 level? He said, yes. God, I won't lie to you. I felt sick for like 2 weeks. I was down. I couldn't move on with the research. I was like, what came to my mind is, okay, how will I start? Where will I start from? Who will I meet? How can I even work with this? Because he's saying that there is no much information about in Nigeria and all that. I was like, where do I start from? Who do I meet? And this tiny thing, what can I make out of it? So it was my attitude. It was my own attitude, how I viewed the fruit flies then. And after some weeks that I was down, the research was not moving because he was not going to accept anything outside the Drosophila research. I now had to start reading about the fruit fly. And believe me, I kept falling in love anytime I read an article about it. And voila, I now started working with the fruit fly. The first was to genetically characterize the fruit fly in Nigeria, and we thank God for the journey so far. So it's actually one's attitude. That's the first problem. You want to look, okay, what is known? Most people know about mice, even hardly C. elegans. So mostly the model that we know in Nigeria is mostly on mice. So if you were wondering, how will I start from? Where can I start from? And then when you now look at it, you say, okay, for some of us that had the opportunity then of seeing the size of the fruit flower, like this tiny thing, as in how can we work with this? So it's actually the issue of knowing. So in this case, you have to solve the problem yourself. And thank God, some people already believe that, yes, you can work with Drosophila. It's no magic. Like in 2016, I was invited as a resource person for the 16th Neuroscience Society of Nigeria. And I was asked to teach them on Drosophila. I took the practical session for the pre-workshop, and I asked to teach them about Drosophila, its handling and all that. And I could remember vividly someone's statement who is now a PI of Drosophila in Ondo State, Ogun State University. Then he was like, this is magic. It's too tiny. What can we do? How can we work with this? He's actually a pharmacologist, and he was like, it's too tiny. We can't work with this. This is magic. They believe it was black magic. And I was like, if I can do it, you can do it. It has to do with you. You have to change that attitude. You have to explore. Let me just put it that way. You need to explore. You need to search for more information. And thank God we have organizations who are assisting in this way. And then we have other top researchers like Dr. Amos Abolaji. And then it's one of the reasons why Drosophila Nigeria was created, to help people, to help Nigerians, to direct them on where and how to get resources, and also the labs that are working Drosophila and what they do in Nigeria. So that's why I said, if you don't collaborate, you collapse in Drosophila research. So it has to do with your attitude. You have to build up your attitude first, because you have to convince yourself before you can convince others. Okay. So Ahmed, would you like to add one or two things about attitude, or is Monserrat there? Anyone?
No, I think you've said it all. So you're right about the attitude. So like, if you want to work on something, or if you actually want to do something, the positive attitude towards it is very, very important. And if you're really pessimistic about it, then there's a big problem. So I think, yeah, so the optimism goes a long way. So I agree. Yeah, and we've got, yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, okay. So any other?
I also agree with you, Rashidat, and I would like to add one thing to it. When we change our attitude towards exploring new options, we should try as much as possible to also be open to collaborations. Let us be open to collaborations. There, I think the Drosophila world is one of the freest that I know. You can ask for lines, you can ask for reagents, a lot of stuff that people are willing to send to you for free. So I think we should be open to collaborations. I think it will help us a lot and move the train forward faster.
Mansoura, can you switch on your video so people can see you? So they know?
My video is on.
Oh, I cannot see it.
Rashidat, can you see me?
No,
I can't either.
What?
Yeah.
My video is on.
Well, for everyone, the person speaking was
No.
Rashidat. She talked about the ALS model in the fly. You remember?
Now
No.
we see you. We see you now, Monserrat.
Now?
We see you.
Ah, okay.
Ah, there you go, Mansoura.
Yes, I'm here with Manal. So
okay. So yes, your attitude, you need to explore, and you can't be. There was one other problem that I observed with our attitude, is that this issue of being an island, you don't want to, you are afraid of sharing your ideas. You feel that, okay, when you share your ideas, it will be stolen, and then, no, I don't want to tell people, okay, this is the problem I'm facing in this research, I want to conduct this research, and I'm afraid that when I tell this person, he might, okay, or she might steal my idea and then use it, okay? So that's one problem that I've encountered so far with few people that want to work with Drosophila. They'll say, okay, they are having this problem. But what is the problem? You have to say the problem, that, like they said, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Now, when it comes to research, believe me, they don't take that way. They don't see it that way. Now, take, I used to tell people this example, my experience. I said, where I am currently, that's Zaria, is about 18 hours drive to where Dr. Amos Abolaji is. But sometimes I have to call, okay, sir, this is my problem. This is the problem I encounter. Or sometimes even okay, Rashidat, what are the problems you're facing? And I'll tell him, and then he finds way to assist, because that's the beauty of the Drosophila community. You have to learn to share your problem, not just reagents, not just share reagents and information. You also have to share your problems. You have to collaborate. You have to find ways together. So it's not an island, and you can't be an island of research. You can't be an island of ideas. So now when you're able to tackle that problem, when it comes to now researchers, other researchers or stakeholders' perception. Now, someone was saying that, what's Rashidat doing? She's taking care of flies. She's taking care of flies, you can imagine. And what's she actually doing? Or is she just wasting her time in the lab? How can you now take care of flies? So there were so many of such, should I say castigation, when you are working with Drosophila in Nigeria, because they feel it's something that this person doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just wasting time saying he's taking care of flies. Okay, where I come from, they call it pt5. He say, taking care of pt5, as in, you understand, that kind of thing. So that's I mean, for a research community, I'm not even talking about the outside. I'm not talking about the outside world. I'm talking about the research community. These are statements within the university. These are statements that I hear within the university. Now, when it now comes to, okay, the stakeholders, take for example, the let's start with the HOD, and they'll be like, okay, sir, I want to do this. What can we gain from this that you are doing? As in, what can we gain from this? So that's why I said it has to do with, you have to first of all refine your attitude. Now, your attitude will be able to, you'll be able to handle such things, you'll be able to handle such questions, you'll be able to be prepared for such questions, and then you'll be able to convince them that you know what you're doing and what you're doing is correct, and what you're doing will ease the sufferings of research in Nigeria. So that was how, as in, that problem was tackled when it came to my own case. So one's attitude is key. It's the first problem and is key to solving all the problems, believe me. Then when you come to equipment and technicalities, like what Hachira said, the confocal microscope is an issue. Yes, equipment, that's funding, which still boils down to funding, is actually an issue, because first of all, people don't believe in what you are doing, right? People don't believe in what you are doing. If possible, I would also like Dr. Amos, if he's here with us, also share his experience of how he started and some of the challenges he also encountered, because stuff like, okay, we had to, you know what you want, and then you have to work towards it. Say, for example, when it came to the issue of, okay, having a lab to raise these fruit flies, it wasn't forthcoming. So what I did then, I was still a student. What I did, my supervisor, who has always been my anchor, he said, okay, Rashida, I'm going to partition my office, because he believed, and I showed him that yes, it is very possible. It's based on my own attitude, and I showed him this can be done. He said, okay, Rashida, we don't have a lab. What can we do? I said, sir, we need a space. Drosophila doesn't utilize much space, so we need a space at least to start with. He said, okay, then what else? I said, we need a controlled environment, a controlled temperature. He said, how can we do that? We don't have an incubator. We can't have an incubator. I said, okay, sir, we can have an AC in your office, which of course should be allowed in all offices. You can have an AC in your office, and then we'll just regulate it, leave it at 25 degrees temperature. That's at room temperature. You can just have it as that. He said, okay, fine. And that was how the Drosophila lab started. That was in 2018. So in 2019, the HOD saw that, okay, this research is moving, because what I was doing, I was breeding, I was to establish a Nigerian strain. So I was collecting wildflies and then doing crosses and all that. So he saw that this research is actually moving. And with just a table, and also I brought pot from my house. Okay, and just a table and pot with a turning stick. And he saw that it's moving. He said, okay, Rashida, why don't you use part of the entomology lab? There is an entomology lab. Why don't you use part of the entomology lab instead of converting one of your supervisor office to a lab in the department? I was like, okay, sir. And yes, went to entomology lab, we got a section, and we were raising the fruit flies. He said, okay, I have a student. Can you also teach, can my student also work with Drosophila? I said, in fact, that's perfect to me. So I trained him with the little resources that we had. I said, okay, since we know the cost of agar, some of the things to us is still expensive. So how can we try to substitute it for something that's going to work and also be good for the flies? And that was what Hassan's work was on in that 2018, and the result was also beautiful despite the setting. He said, okay, now 2019, I don't forget the date, October 1st, That was when Nigeria got independence. Yes, we also launched the mini Drosophila lab, where it was now conditioned AC. There were now shelves, there was a fridge, and then it was now named a Drosophila lab. So you can see the journey was not just at once. It first started with me building up my attitude. I had to first, that's my inner self. I had to say it's possible. Okay, and then I now had to convince other researchers that this is possible. Okay, and then the issue of the equipment to some extent was now solved, because believe me, the stakeholders are the ones with the fund. The meager salary we receive, you can't invest about 25% of it in research. It's just going to weigh you down. So yes, that's about the problems of working with Drosophila, the problems I encountered. So I don't know if we can have some other people share, because some have started working with Drosophila. So can they please share their problems aside this? Yes. So you can unmute.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and share some story.
Thank you very much. So I wanted to add a couple of things to what is being discussed and commented on the chat. First to say that we have here with Rashida, Hamed, and Mansoura, I would say these three are examples of what it can be done, and also of what is going to be the future of Drosophilists in Africa. I think they're going to be leaders on that.
And Wessam is also with us from Egypt.
Yeah, no, Amos and Wessam are established. I'm talking about the future. Yeah, so Wessam and Amos and yeah, they're established labs. I'm saying more in the next generation, maybe the younger generation. But yes, Wessam, Amos, the Tunisian group, Hayet and Sfax, all that for sure. Yeah. But in terms of, because I'm seeing that there are a lot of people saying that we need help, we want to set up labs and in different institutions and all that. And I just want to say two things. One is, approach DrosAfrica, write to us, like Ghana did, and we can try to help you with that. But of course, we can't help everyone. We are scientists ourselves, and we only do DrosAfrica in our free time. So for that, you need to get together, like Rashida is there, and you need to collaborate. You need to work together, and that's key. So I would suggest that people that are serious about this, they talk up to their institutions, and they reach those that can help them in Africa, get consortium together, apply for grants to set up labs. You can do that together across universities, across countries. And again, we can help you. And of course, you can also try to go abroad like Hamed and Mansoura did, within the idea of bringing your skills back to Africa. But Rashida and Amos and Wessam and Hayet are examples of what it can be done in the country. But yes, just write to us and work among yourself. And remember, there is the African Society of Drosophila Research, ASDR, which we set it up a few years ago. I can't remember exactly when. And then we are...
2017.
Yes,
2017, you were there. I think a few of you were there.
Yes.
But it's not a DrosAfrica society, it's an African society. Yeah. And once we set it up or help set it up and we are external helpers, then it kind of stops. And again, you all need to get together into that society and push it forward and use that society to apply for grants to get labs going. But yes, DrosAfrica long-term idea is to even have a whole institute where you can use inexpensive but impacting research using different model systems. So yeah.
And let me just add that in case, as Isa said, DrosAfrica can help you because we organize all these workshops. But I would like to ask you, so that all of you don't write to us as individuals. So when DrosAfrica organizes a workshop, normally it comes from your institution that then really wants to apply for us to organize a workshop there. So please don't do it at an individual level, because we need to have the consent from your institution. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is to actually convince your institution that you really want to celebrate the workshop there. And then from the institution, they write to us. And then once we see that there is a compromise, that they really want to do it, then we will start talking. Okay, so just convince your institution and that will be good. Thank you. So there are two hands, no? Up.
Two hand raised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got Simon and Oyibo. Simon, do you want to ask your question, please?
Yeah, mine is not really a question. It is with respect to Rashidat said earlier on how far we've gone there. I'm from University of Jos, Nigeria. We are also using Drosophila in our laboratory in a small scale. One of the major research we are doing is trying to investigate effect of some of our natural drugs on diabetes using Drosophila. And it has been a great journey so far. And we have some PhD students that are already working on that. We have, great thanks to Lola and Isabella and Malta, because I was one of the participants in Kenya in 2016.
Right.
And coming back from there, I visited Abdulazeez's lab, and Abdulazeez has been so helpful. He has been to University of Jos twice to see us through in the use of Drosophila. So with that, we were able to establish a Drosophila laboratory. And we've been working on that with a few publications. I've also traveled to New York. There I met Ross Kagan and Professor Justin Blau. I worked in his lab for 3 months. So it has been a great journey. So I want to say a very big thanks to DrosAfrica. And we also want to be on board and be part of the great work that DrosAfrica is doing in Nigeria. Recently, we applied for our National Research Fund, and we got a TED Fund grant to investigate the effects of one of our natural products in Drosophila in terms of diabetes, and we're about taking off the ground. So it's a good success. Thank you.
Thank you, Simeon. That's really nice. And are you working together with Ponch?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
okay.
Though he has his lab in zoology.
Yeah.
Mine is in pharmacology, but we're working together.
So we are just reconnecting with Jos University when just talking to them about a possible collaboration again. So we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah.
Yes, I was with my director, and he asked for. I actually he invited Dr. Wiep and Professor Wiep, and they discussed. So I was with him when he sent the email. So we're actually looking forward to that.
So you are part of that. Great. Yeah, just to make sure.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of people with their hands up as well. Ojibo Agogo, are you there? You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Or...
Okay, thank you. And I want to thank you for the privilege to probably ask this question, because I've been working with Drosophila for about 3 years now. I started 2018 under Dr. Amos Abdulazeez. I think basically one of the things we might really need to get more expertise on over in Africa is the use of microscopy, because from the presentations so far, I see that most of the work that came out beautifully is microscopy using confocal. Presently here we use spectrophotometric methods and running most of our assay, and recently we started using our fluorescent microscope in staining antibodies with slides. So I think what more will bring the beauty of our work in Africa, if we can get expertise in microscopy. Presently, I'm about rounding up my PhD in cancer, and hopefully trusting God for learning more of these techniques so that we can actually teach our generations, younger generations coming up, Drosophila properly, apart from spectrophotometry and using the fluorescent microscope, which we are doing here presently. Thank you so much.
So actually one of the ideas of setting up a Drosophila lab, for example, say in Nigeria, in different countries, is just to be able to equip them with better equipment. So that you know, it would be silly that each of you have your own confocal microscope, because that would be complicated. So the idea to start with at least an institution, a building somewhere, you know, in a country where the people from the different universities can go there and do a more sophisticated work.
Yes.
You know, that would be the idea in the near future, hopefully.
Yeah. So okay, Bakare is raising up his hand. So should he talk first? Bakare?
Bakare, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
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 Yes.
I'm
Hello,
happy
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm happy to be amidst great minds like this. I really appreciate Ms. Rashidat. She actually did well with her presentation yesterday. But I have loads of questions to ask. Hello? I have loads of questions to ask. Okay, Ms. Monsurat, actually.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
pardon me. Ms. Monsurat, you did a nice job yesterday. I really enjoyed it. Okay. I've been unable to attend all sessions, but then I have loads of questions to ask. So I don't think—
Just to add, if there's any questions about research, then that can go in the Slack.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So how about the Slack problem? I want to know if it has been fixed so I can actually put my questions there.
Okay, Mr. Bakari, okay. Have you worked with Drosophila before? Are you working with Drosophila?
I've had experience with Drosophila as a research assistant. Yes, but our lab was not that kind of lab that had everything like you guys have explained. So we really need improvement. Hello?
No, but that means you didn't follow the discussion rightly, because there is no lab that have everything. There is no lab. Even in the development, there is no lab. So that's why I said you either collaborate or you collapse. So you have to collaborate in the, so you have to reach out. It's not there. You can't have everything. Just like how what Lola said, the issue of maybe confocal microscope, it has to be maybe in a particular lab for others to access. Okay.
Yes, I was actually following all along while you were saying that. But even those confocal microscope and all those other equipment you mentioned were actually not available. They were not available. And collaboration at undergraduate level was not easy. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, like the other people said, that we can actually ask for a lab to be set up in our schools and stuff like that. So I want to know, how are we to go about that? Is there anything that will be dropped for us, like a link, a site for us to actually follow up with these people? Because yes, this is kind of pertaining to departments most of the time. You understand what I'm trying to say, ma?
Yes, sir. So sorry, Bakari, are you a Nigerian?
Ma?
Are you a Nigerian?
Yes, I'm a Nigerian.
Okay, we'll send a couple of links, and then you can also check the Joseph for Nigeria website.
Yes, that was why I asked.
Yes, to direct you.
That's why I asked.
Yes, because
that's why
it's actually
I asked earlier.
Okay, yes. So it's actually a hub to assist you, to direct you on where you can get some things done. Okay, so especially for we that are just starting and all that. So, and also the issue of technicalities, okay, having the equipment. In fact, you need to know the know-how have to be there, not just having the equipment. The know-how have to be there. I think recently some few PCR were donated by I think Stephen Lab to a multipurpose user
Dr.
lab.
Rashidat?
Yes.
There is one more hand, and then after that we can wrap things up. So for the person who has their hand up, you can unmute yourself. Online events.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is Ohemo Temitayo from Jos, Unijos, Nigeria. I want to thank DrosAfrica for this opportunity to participate in this workshop. I've learned a lot. Just to add to the importance of Drosophila in research and how it can open up doors for you, I just won an IFS grant to carry out a research on plants used to enhance male fertility. And one of the major reasons I got that grant was because I was going to also use Drosophila as a model. So I would encourage every young researcher to look into the area of using Drosophila as a model. I believe Drosophila opened one of the major doors to be able to get this grant. So I'm happy to be here. Actually, the presentations have been wonderful, and it's making me to also begin to think of going further beyond the topic, the procedure I'd used in submitting the proposal. I would like to open up and find out more newer methods and go into the molecular area such that we've learned to see how this research or this grant can be used properly. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you so much for all these the comments and the contribution. So I'll quickly say, looking for solutions to the problem, the solution actually lies with you. Okay, it lies with you. You have to change your attitude and you have to believe that it can help you and then it can take you places. That's why my personal quote is that yes, you can get there with Drosophila. Okay, so this I'm just showing how the male there is a PhD student. He's done with his PhD work from physiology, and this is an undergraduate student, and they are working together in the lab that was established. That was in 2019, and then you can see some changes in the lab gradually, patiently. And this is an undergraduate work. This is one of an undergraduate work. So you can see even with few resources, you can still produce beautiful results with Drosophila. So I would also want to encourage us to have that determination of bringing a change, a positive change to our individual societies, and then using Drosophila as a key. So, and one way you can also go about this, aside from research, is to reach out to the community, to the stakeholders. You'll be surprised that, okay, let's say in my own side, you'll be surprised that maybe those ones that are pushing barrows, that are pushing wheelbarrows, there are some that they have power, they have stake, as in, should I say, they can turn things around. So it's to reach out to them, tell them about the fruit fly, tell them how it can assist. Okay, take for instance, during my PhD research sampling, to collect the fruit flies for market, I usually tell them I have to speak the local dialect. I have to tell them, okay, you see, this Bisami, you know about Chiwon sugar means diabetes in Hausa. So I'll say, okay, these fruit flies, we use them to investigate Chiwon sugar. When I bincike akan Chiwon sugar, that we used to investigate, use them to investigate on fruit flies. And they'll be like, really? This? I said, yes. So, and that's how they say, oh, please allow her to do this. You understand? So you have to reach out. Don't feel that no, they are illiterate, or you'll be impressed that maybe the governor's brother is actually in the market. So please, you need to reach out. You need to do outreach. You need to collaborate. That's the thing. So with this, I would like to say thank you for your time, attention, and contributions. And I would like to appreciate DrosAfrica for the opportunities they've been training me, and then they've been giving some grants, and then showing me how to get grants, how to collaborate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rashidat.
Yes, and also to Professor Andres of Manchester Fly Facility. He has been my mentor since 2016. So please, I would like to also appreciate Dr. Abolaji, Professor Danjuma, and the other co-founders of Drosophila for Nigeria. It has been a great journey, and thank you so much. Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Rashida.
Rashida.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Thank you.